Hello everyone, and welcome to NGS Div B West Grand Finals. Now, as you may have noticed, we do have a double cast today. I am gonna be joined here by Omster. And Omster, how are you doing today?
Oh, looking forward to the B West Grand Finals, Toki. It should be an absolutely fantastic match. Two strong teams. Can't wait.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to this too. This is a division that I've really been enjoying casting this whole season. It might be my most casted division, to be completely honest. No bias here, though. And, I mean, this has been incredibly close. I mean, I'm going to take a moment and just kind of go through the standings. And, I mean, this really says it all. 33 and 23, the difference between the first and last seed in the playoffs. Now, I don't know, Omster, how much of a chance have you had to go through this division before?
I think I've casted almost every team once, but probably just once. So, I think I've seen Roll1Esports maybe 3 times in casting. But yeah, I mean, I'm a little surprised. I know Clouded Minds at times had some tough times during the season, but it looks like they've come on strong at the exact right time. And Roll1Esports has kind of been the class of the division as they show by being number one. But yeah, 3 points separate these teams, so there's obviously another huge difference.
Yeah, and let's also take a quick look over at the playoff bracket, just kind of see how these two teams got here. And we can kind of see Roll1Esports, this thing is a little bit messed up. They did get the bye originally, so they've only had 1 game, and that was against Magnitude Aftershock, and it was a nail biter. It was 3-2. They went the full 5 games for the best of 5, whereas Clouded Minds, they had to do the full run, but have still somehow dropped less games than Roll1Esports.
Having dropped no games, a 3-0 over Bunker Funtime and then a 3-0 over Shirley We Scale, this is a team that's coming in feeling hot, feeling good, but you have to wonder, if they do drop a game early, is that going to crack their confidence a little bit? But there's only one way to find out.
Yeah, exactly. There's only one way to find out, and that's to head into the games. Now, we are still waiting on one more player to join, but we should be getting going decently soon, and in the meanwhile, we can walk through the map picks. So, Roll1Esports, they automatically won the coin toss, and they decided to go with first pick, which they haven't done this entire season. But Clouded Minds gonna ban out Dragonshire and Tomb of the Spider Queen. Roll1Esports will ban out Brax's Holdout and Garn of Terror. So the first map we're gonna be going to is Alterac Pass. And Omster, what do you think about this map selection?
I absolutely love it. One of the biggest maps with one of the largest distances between lanes. Although, unlike Garden and Cursed, it's pretty open between lanes. So we don't often see the more fun heroes like Zeratul here because they are so visible. But it's a huge map. It's got 2 neutral bosses that can be captured. The camp sometimes can get left for quite a while if teams feel like they can position themselves to a macro advantage. So I feel like this is a map that lets teams play the way they want to play. If you want to go Samuro hard push, you have that option. If you want to go big team fight, go for the objective immediately, you have that option too. So it's definitely a map that gives both of these teams the opportunity to play their way.
Yeah, and Alterac Pass, it is one of the bigger maps as well. And kind of like you said, it does open up a lot of opportunity. You can play more macro-oriented. You can even play poke-oriented. This is one of the harder objectives to kind of try and take safely, just alongside the prisoner camp. But, I mean, it should be interesting to watch regardless. I'm sure we'll be seeing some bans coming out towards the likes of Junkrat, Chromie, just anything that can kind of prevent the pull or the... that can prevent the channel over the wall.
Well, and I don't doubt, too, at this point, both these teams have done their homework. So if either of them are comfortable on a true hard push hero, an annoying hero, something like Zagura, something like the Ragnaros or the Samurai that can just cause issues in far lanes, if someone on one of these teams is really strong with that, I wouldn't be surprised to see that go, too. I think playing really good macro on this map can end up being extremely successful. So if there's one team that feels like their team fights better than macro, then they better get rid of some of those heroes instead of give them headaches.
Yeah. But we do have the 10th player joining now. So that should definitely get the game going pretty soon. And we should also probably get right back off the map pick now, because we are going to be getting started here real soon. And I don't know about you, but I'm really looking forward to this game.
This is going to be really fun. I mean, we got to cast Div C at the finals, and no spoilers. It may not have been as exciting in terms of games, but man, both those teams brought some crazy picks, some crazy drafts, and some crazy play. And I mean, Div B West, it's a step up in terms of at least the ranks of the players. And honestly, both these teams have excellent, excellent players. I'm looking forward to people picking things they're comfortable on, and if they're either at risk of being eliminated or they're up a couple games, I'm looking forward to them bringing some spice. I mean, might as well leave it all on the table in the final series of the season.
Exactly. Hopefully they can bring something really fun, but either way, it's time for us to head into the draft for game number 1. Oh, JK. Someone had to leave the lobby. Gotta love getting the hype going and then a player leaves the lobby. It looks like there was especially Chong. By the way, for everyone in chat, Chong Selmo, a huge shout out to him. He is my co-caster for the Blue Otter League of Legends League that I do cast on Wednesdays. Be sure to check that out too, by the way. It's a lot of fun. He's the play-by-play in that one. I don't think he's ever seen my play-by-play before, so that could be pretty fun. But okay, there we go. False alarm aside, it is time to get into the draft for game number 1 between Roll1Esports and Clouded Minds.
It's really hard for these small indie dev companies like Blizzard, owned by tiny companies like Microsoft, to really deal with some of the issues that show up in their launchers. So I'm not surprised if they had to leave the lobby and come back in.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the way it goes. And I mean, the other game I cast league also has huge client issues, so we'll see how that goes. But either way, the draft has begun. And again, Roll1Esports are going to have first pick, and they're banning away the Dahaka. Not too surprising to see that. It's just an absolute cringe hero right now in its current moment. So happy to see that gone.
A Nubrak, a very intelligent vet as well. One of the few tanks that can capture the point himself. If you position properly, the Beetles will interact with the little annoying things. So smart ball out from Cleveland. Real tank chokeout here.
Yeah, and I mean, tanks can really do a lot of damage on this map. Especially the likes of Joanna and Anubrak. Really anyone that can either be super annoying above over the wall, or someone that can just kind of hold on to the point and ignore any kind of crowd control. But first few picks are already coming through. It's Hogger going to be locked in for Zad in the off lane, and then Junkrat somehow getting through. I think this is Junkrat's single best map, so I'm a little bit surprised to see that go.
Man, these guys are getting used to the shorter timer in Stormlink because they are flying through that place. I think Stukov and Junkrat are probably two of the most annoying heroes to deal with when you're attempting to channel or attempting to fight with their displacement and silence, respectively. Anyway,
sorry, Omster, you're breaking up a little bit. I think your mic might be a little bit on the fritz there, but
I might have moved it a bit too much to the side.
Yep, you sound a lot better now, so... Oh yeah, points. I forgot to give people points.
So we see Varian banned out. Often it makes a lot of sense when there's a Stukov in the game. You do not want to see that taunt into silence. It can lead to death. Ariel will be banned out on the 5 side, and that makes a lot of sense. Junkrat can provide a lot of energy, and whatever probably auto attacker they pick as well can also feed Ariel. So just get that super healer out of there. But into a great second pick for throughput. And the false head gives them a little bit of global pressure.
Yeah, the false head also is going to be able to kind of poke over the wall and just kind of prevent the channel onto the prisoner camp as well. So I really like that pick from Rogue, but at the same time, I'm actually kind of surprised about all the DPS that are getting through. Junkrat, Chromie, Falstad, those are typically 3 that you really try to kind of prevent on this map, but it looks like both teams, they're confident in their ability to overcome the poke and be able to just secure the point on their own. But pretty spicy pick there. We got Thrall locked in for Velvet, and then the Stitches for Rock Your World. And I mean, Stitches is the most volatile tank of the game. It's either going to perform exceedingly well or it's going to do nothing. And how do you think Rock Your World is going to be able to do this time around?
Well, I think drafting Thrall and Hogger, two of the highest damage bruiser off lanes, with Chromie and Stukov in the back, I think they've drafted to make Chromie totally safe while trying to go front to back super hard. My only real concern for that Falstad and Sonya after Clouded Mines and Sonya mitigates that a bit, Falstad and Junkrat have kind of slow damage in the early game. They might need to be very cognizant of how they engage their fights before Falstad's stacked up.
Yeah, but either way, we're going to be loading into map number 1 now. And I do think you're right. I think they have a really good protect the Chromie composition, and should just be able to get those Sandblasts, those Dragon's Breath just completely over the wall, completely over onto these two teams. But either way, we are loaded in, so why don't you go ahead and introduce Roll1Esports?
I would be delighted. We have Roll1Esports in the blue. They are allied with Vandar Stormpike of the Dwarves in the Alliance. We've got Rocket World on the Stitches. O is on the Chromie. Vad is on the Hogger. Waneba is on the Stukov. And Velvet is bringing the Thrall. An Orc on the Alliance side? Dear me.
Yeah, but on the other side, in the red trunks, Clouded Mines, we have Tiger on the Sonya, Tempest Jet on the Muradin, Ruffian on the Anduin, Trash Mouse on the Junkrat, and holding the bottom lane right now is going to be Rogue on Falstad, and a 1-3-1 split to start the game. Clouded Mines, they're already bringing a little bit of spice, at least in terms of just the macro.
Falstad going for that frequent flyer again. It seems like he wants to get there's very low chance they get a kill really early.
Oh, but now they have the Chastise. They're landing, and they found Rocky World. They're getting so many stuns, just trying to get more autos, but it is a 5-on-3. But Rocky World still positioning forward. Trash Mouse actually getting the grenades, and Rocky World will get caught by the last one. First blood going to Clouded Mines, and they're looking for more. Waneba trying to get away and will be able to get the last second heal, but huge start with the disadvantage for Clouded Mines.
Rocky World trying to get the nice sidesteps from those bombs, but missed seeing one of them walked right on top as it went off, and that blew our Undead Abomination straight up.
Yeah, and it's a bit upsetting because Rocky World managed to dodge so many of them, and that was the final grenade that could have taken down the Stitches, and that's the final one that did end up hitting. Sometimes it's a game of inches, and sometimes the other side has more of them, and right now, either way, we are going to be going on to these siege camps. Tiger going to get started on the side for Clouded Mines, and Horniba and Zad going to be taking out the one on the left, and it looks like both of them are going to get secured at about the same time, so no huge advantage there in terms of pacing.
Oh, absolutely not. And now it looks like they're trying to at least put some pressure on Rogue in the bottom, make life a little more difficult, but a pretty savvy Falstad player, aware of how to stay out of danger as best as possible. Already has 3 stacks in the frequent flyer, and honestly, on a map like this, it's not necessarily bad to run the 1-3-1. You can really get some clear. Although I'm a little surprised to see Chromie go with that level 1 tower. There's a fairly open map. I would have thought maybe Dragon's Breath or the Sandblast project, the Deep Breathing or the Sandblast one. Or what?
Yeah, it's definitely not the most common for this map, but I think having the time traps up more often is pretty good. And just in general, being able to activate them faster. But actually, Sad going to be coming in and will force out the Leap of Faith coming out from Ruffian. But 30 seconds until the prisoner camp spawn, and we're actually already a full level lead for Clouded Mines. And I'm a little bit surprised about that. I kind of want to see where that's from, as Rogue should be able to just jump away. And look at that difference in mercenary camps and in terms of minions overall. Just in terms of minions, just so much soak power going the way of Clouded Mines. Oh, but the hook does land, and Trash Mouse gonna be taken down, and that is the power of the Stitches. What happens
that
is just
feels like revenge, Toki. After 3 straight mines into his team, Rock Your World is saying, you're not the only one who can displace somebody. Get gangly Australian explosives expert.
Yeah, and they're gonna be able to kind of even out the level lead from that and even get a little bit of a push in the bot lane. However, during that entire time, Tiger's just been free pushing on the top side. That entire wall is already gonna be taken down, and that's definitely gonna help increase their pacing. It's gonna give a lot more space for Tiger to play, as now both teams once again gonna be taking the siege camp, though this time Clouded Mines are a little bit behind the pace in terms of getting those.
Hogger can be really quick, especially once he gets some talents in, with his Hog Wild bouncing around here and there. it should be interesting to see if they want to fight over the point, but at the moment it doesn't seem to be the priority.
Yeah, at the time, I think both teams are aware that it's going to be very difficult to control the point. Between Chromie, Junkrat, Stitches, Stukov, Muradin to some extent as well, Volstad, it's just so hard to actually be able to safely channel onto it. I think it's only doable when it's after a big team fight, when they already have the HP or numbers advantage. But Velvet actually might be stepping up a little bit far. Tempest Jet not going to jump onto that play, but Velvet kind of playing with fire, playing a little bit beyond the standard pace that you would see here.
And Clouded Minds have come out looking like the team that's gone 3-0 in the playoffs. Now, granted, most Stitches comps scale to a certain degree. Thrall can get stronger as the game goes. And after 13, Stitches, really between 13 and 20 and beyond, Stitches becomes just a going concern. Anytime he can hook him from out of vision into a puddle, into the Feral Spirit from Thrall.
Oh, but the hook does land, and Tempest Jet going to be stuck in the Lurking Arm as well. We'll get the Dwarf Toss, but that's going to be right into Zad, but Zad not going to be able to follow up that play. Trash Mouse is going to be able to prevent it from going on, but now Concussion Mine splitting the two of them up, and it looks like once again both teams, they're gonna meet, but they're not quite ready to full brawl yet.
And it is about a half-level lead for Clouded Minds at the moment, so it makes sense for them. Just wait, hit your 10s and force Roll1Esports to choose between losing a fight or losing a camp.
And right now, it seems Roll1Esports, they are kind of choosing to try and secure both, but again, they've already lost so much on this top side. Bit by bit, these minions are still chipping away at this fort. Not in any super meaningful way yet, but level 10's now going to be available for Clouded Minds. They have the heroics, and they're immediately starting to play aggressively. Tempest Jet even threatening to face check that brush, but not going to come in yet. But the leap is going to come out, and they're looking towards Rocky World. The Chastise not going to be able to land. Light Bomb over top, going to land on two. They take down the stage of Twaniba. Again, just going to be forced to leave, but the Rocket Ride going to be taken. Not going to be able to finish off this Stukov, but it's still one kill for Clouded Minds as the Junkrat riding right back into the game.
So worth noting, Hogger was able to take their Knoll camp, but perfectly played by Clouded Minds. They won the fight first, then sent Sonya back to deal with it. That means they've taken very little middle fort damage, and they're still going to get this incredible push from these cavalry. A good Mighty Gust confirms the Orcish cavalry coming to help Jackson the alliance.
Yeah, Roll1Esports, they tried to get in the way. Rock Your World and Velvet both just kind of trying to delay the camp by looking for the steal, but unfortunately not going to be able to do enough there. So with that, Clouded Minds, they're going to get the first set of cavalry, and the question is, how much can they get out of it? I mean, in the bot lane, we already have Rogue. The ranged versus melee matchup always makes it a little bit easier to shove out the defense, but I mean, it's also Hogger at the same time, so not going to be quite as easy. But now the main push.
Sonya is stone alone in the top lane. If she's not careful, she gets hit by a spear. Sonya can blow her up with the damage that comes from the cavalry.
Yeah, but now over in the mid lane, Velvet gonna get hit by the Chastise, and now the Gorge is going to be there, but it doesn't matter. Velvet's already gone, and Tempest Jet not really gonna be too bothered by it. Gonna be able to dodge out on the hook, but again, another individual pickoff going the way of Clouded Minds. Now, they did lose all their cavalry, but top lane fort is gone, mid lane wall is gone, and bot lane wall is gone, and now there's also 4 players to continue threatening.
Chromie's taking a lot of damage, as we see on the top health bar. She's attempting to run into some time traps to get away from this Sonya. But what I'm impressed with right now, Toki, is the patience of Clouded Minds. They're not overextending at all. They see a kill, they take that kill, and then they're just patient about it. They're not overextending. They're not trying to do too much. They're taking exactly what they can get and then leaving with the advantage. That's given them a full level lead just 8.5 minutes into this game.
Yeah, a full level lead and a 2 fort lead. It can't be understated how much value having these extra structures, having these extra cannon minions, and the passive experience going their way. As Tempest Jet going to be able to dodge out on the hook, but will take a full Dragon's Breath for their trouble. But with Ruffian right behind Tempest Jet, not really going to accomplish too much now. Tiger is here on the side, but Leap still on cooldown for 5 more seconds, so Roll1Esports will be able to just back away for now, but The real question is, what is the next play for Clouded Minds?
Well, the really noticeable advantage of having the top and bottom forks down is that where the bosses come through. So honestly, if they get another kill, I would argue their next big plan is take the bottom boss so that Roll1Esports has to deal with that while you're trying to take the top side objective.
Yeah, and it looks like Roll1Esports are getting set up to attack onto Rogue, and Rogue will be forced to use the Massive Gust defensively. And I mean, I still gotta give credit. Rogue, even when trying to kind of cheat tempo a little bit, push out a little bit too far, never does it without that get out of jail free card. For the next bit, it needs to be a little bit more passive. And with a prisoner camp spawning, it is one of the easier objectives to hold. It shouldn't be an issue for Clouded Minds without that cooldown.
As for Rock Your World, now they have 13. They have that Stitch's hook extension, and their opportunities to make plays get bigger. But Rock Your World is going to have to really consider who he hooks.
Almost landed on Trash Mouse.
Just about did. If he lands it on the Merlin, not much use. And even the Sonya can get herself out with the leap. So, honestly, I would say your best choice is Ruffian. Otherwise, he just pulls whoever you grab and back out.
Yeah, the Leap of Faith, definitely one of the best options. And now Tempest Jet is going to get hooked up, but Gorge not going to be able to come through. And Tempest Jet still going to play forward. It's stuck in the time trap, but right now, Clouded Minds just completely force them off of the objective. They're going to start the channel on the prisoner camp, and at the same time, we see their top lane just getting absolutely pushed up, and now Trash Mouse gonna get hooked up as well. And again, Gorge has not been used. Rocket Ride is coming through and will be able to get away safely at about 100 HP. So really close to a pick for Roll1Esports, but Clouded Minds are going to be safe. But now the team fight could start. Staggering blow coming out on Tempest Jet. Tiger could be in the middle of everyone. Will use Leap defensively, but immediately hook back in, and the Gust and the Ancient Spear. The Tiger just kind of jumping back and forth, but looks like we'll be able to back away safely. However, Roll1Esports was able to secure their prisoner camp with 6.5 seconds left on it.
That is the huge deal with Rocket Ride. Once you use it, your team is in a 5v4 until you can get back. And yes, you're sped up.
Gorge is going to be coming through. And they do have the fall side. They have Rogue. And now we'll be able to just jump away. Again, that barrel roll just being such a strong defensive capability. And level 16s are now available for Clouded Minds. Now the Iron Hook is going to land, and Tempest Jet will force out the Avatar, but so much damage going through anyway. But the heal coming in from Ruffian, and now instead they're going to be able to take down Zad. This poor Hogger was trying to go hog wild, but not going to be able to bring it out in time.
And that Hogger is very Zad right now.
Yes, but now Rocky Road gets thrown into the rest of the team. Chastise lands leap into the background. Light Bulb with the massive shove. Going to prevent it. Rocky Road will be the first to go down. Tiger starting to get low. Will get finished off next. Velvet will follow, and another 2-for-1 in favor of Clouded Minds. And I say 2-for-1, but they do land the extra stun onto Juaniba. But with Rogue just channeling onto the camp, no follow-up will be necessary. And it's a 3-for-1 all day, and another set of cavalry going the way of Clouded Minds.
I honestly think there was a little bit of impatience that crept into Roll1Esports there. They've looked so good all season, and I think they're a little surprised how dominant Clouded Minds has been so far on the macro side of things. They really didn't need to take that fight right then, and it's going to cause them to lose more than if they had just been waiting to defend.
Yes, and they're already getting some value. The mid lane for it is going to be gone, and now they're starting to roam down towards Zad, and Zad going to be the next target. And already 33 stacks of Frequent Flyer, by the way. Rogue is quite strong. Trash Mouse just going to jump in and tries to use the Horde Pull to get away. But Zad, you have nowhere to go. You're going to get stunned up by the Stormbolt and finished off by Ruffian. But however, it did buy some time to at least clear out this mid lane cavalry.
2 full level lead now for the members of Clouded Minds, and they still have 2 mostly full health, cavalry still coming through. This is going to make life very, very difficult.
And the push is already coming through. They're already looking to finish off this wall. It doesn't seem like they'll be able to get much more, and in fact won't even be able to finish off this wall, just barely. But again, it's just bit and bit of advantage, just going the way of Clouded Minds. They're even able to get a little bit of damage over to that top lane keep, and with the bosses available, they're immediately going to head down to the bottom, and this could be their next big push as Rogue.
I'm just click on the Mighty Gust.
Maybe not a misclick, maybe just helping cool off the Giant.
Yeah, I don't know that it affects the Giant, I'm not sure.
Yeah, but either way, they are going to be able to secure this bottom boss. And Roll1Esports, they're stuck playing defense. They can't just go and trade for the top one. And Clouded Mines, they're not going for the top one either. They're just going to immediately start this push. They're going to make sure the waves are in. And now they're going to start rotating. And it looks like, I'm assuming this play is going to be towards this top lane boss now. And with Flight coming out of Rogue, it does seem to be the case. Tiger and Rogue should be able to just start this together. While Roll1Esports, they can just have fun trying to deal with this one.
And just being locked in their base, with all their front forts gone, with their vision only from the minion waves, they are in a spot now where they're playing from behind but can't even afford to go get the experience. Now, the keeps are extra important on this map. Each keep gives your core 20% or 20% armor. It has 60% armor to start with all three keeps. Every keep that goes down is 20 armor loss. So usually you want to get 2 of them down, unless you get a 5-man wipe. But 20s are here, a full 2.5 levels ahead, storming down with the boss. This is going to have to be a very careful defense from the members of Roll1Esports.
As this could definitely be the opportunity for them to lose the fight, but they're able to get the hook onto Rogue. Now they have the Gorge as well. Tempest and Trashmouth trying to follow, and with the Mighty Gust, the wind tunnel, not going to be able to accomplish too much, and Trashmouth's going to be sent away as well. We'll use that Rocket Ride defensively, so Clouded Mines, they will lose their top lane keep, but they don't lose quite as much as they could have if that fight went poorly.
I think Falstad was hoping for the game-ending gust right there, and it got predicted perfectly. He came right over the wall into the Gorge, a perfect silence bottle from Winnerda, and that is going to be that boss push totally stopped, because in this particular map, the core does recover health. It's the only map that does that.
Yes, but however, Clouded Mines are still not going to walk away empty-handed. Despite being 4v5, they will at least get 2 seconds of channel onto the prisoner camp, but better than 0. But Roll1Esports at the same time, they know it's 4v5. They know that there's no wind tunnel. They know that they're lacking damage right now. So now they want to start pushing onto this prisoner camp themselves. But again, the issue, there is a Junkrat just hanging out over top, just constantly lobbing those grenades and interrupting those channels. And just Trashmouth being in the area is enough to dissuade Roll1Esports.
Well, and Falstad has just come back to life. I think they saw as soon as he got down to 1 life, they knew he could fly in and wind tunnel, and they do not want the game to end that way. They want to hit 20 and give themselves an opportunity.
Yeah, but Hook is going to land. Concussion Mine as well, but I don't think either of these two teams really want to full commit onto this play. Clouded Mines, they don't need to fight, and Roll1Esports, they can't fight. They're still down 20s. And unless they get a perfect hook Gorge combo onto Ruffian, Trashmouse, or once again Rogue, it's going to be difficult for them to walk up. They need their level 20s, but at this rate, I think they do have to go for it, and they did find Rogue. They managed to take them down, but leap over to the backline. Still 45, staggering blow from Zad, actually buying a lot of space. Ruffian able to get the stun on Velvet, and now they're going to be able to trade 1-for-1, but another Gorge is going to be there. They're found Tiger, and a massive shove into the wall. Poe, and with the Horda pull, they're going to be able to get that kill. Zad able to find it for the team, and now level 20s about to come over for Roll1Esports, and they can start threatening this prisoner camp themselves.
That team had so much faith in that hook. They were waiting, even though they didn't have their 20x. The second they had the opportunity to come around and hit Rogue, he was gone.
Yeah, I know.
Great timeout from me.
Yeah, the Rocket Ride is going to come through, and I believe now, I've never actually seen this level 20. Always rides this Rocket Ride mount, and yeah, that's a really fast amount to have now. It is going to be on cooldown for 60 seconds, but the hook is going to land. Trashmouth without the Rocket Ride, I was going to say has no escape, but the Concussion Mine buying so much space right now, and with the mount coming back up, Trashmouth's just going to be able to run it out of here, ride the rocket, and ride it back to safety.
Sprays the Haha Lunara skin, or a spray. That is a fella who knows how to have a good time.
That's the important thing. When in doubt, throw the sprays, throw the taunts. That's how you got to do it. Just don't throw the game trying to get those BMs. And now Tempest Jet will be able to retake onto the zone. And Concussion Mine almost finding Juaniba there, but won't be able to in the end.
That slam from Rocket World just coming up short on Tempest Jet to delay his stall on the camp.
Yeah, but one big thing I've noticed, Roll1Esports, they've still been good about taking their camps. And it does give them a little bit of pressure over in the mid lane. It gives them a little bit of opportunity. And this is Alterac Path, by the way. This is one thing I do want to bring up right now. This is a map where you can come back because, yes, they're getting pushed into the top side, but it doesn't matter on this map if it is just that one lane.
Good Dragon's Breath hits Trash Balls here. He will immediately back out. The Slowing Sands are here. Again, Slowing Sands makes a lot more sense against the Anduin than the Tempora Loop would have made. But we see the flank here. They're going to try for the Crescent into Roll1Esports.
Yeah, and now the fight is breaking open to Juanita, but gonna get taken down, and they've already lost the healer. But now Rock Your World looking for the Gorge, only on to Tempest, just trying to take Tempest out the fight. And Ruffian's starting to get burst down, but again, the healing's too hard. Rock Your World gonna be the next to follow. Zad gonna get taken down low as well, but we'll just run away, and it will be Velvet. And it's a 3-0 in favor of Clouded Minds. They have the push in the mid lane. They have the prisoner camp in their favor. And now Trash Mouse is going to be back and could look towards Zad. That is very low HP. A couple more hits, but the grenade's not going to be able to land. Oh, but yes, they will in the end. They will bounce off the wall. And now Poe, the final survivor, as Rogue going to try running it down. 46 stacks on Frequent Flyer. And I think this should be the game.
That spread volley did a ton of damage, and it makes it so hard to step away when there's 12 different bombs coming towards you. They've taken down 2 keeps. It's only 20% armor in this boss, and only Chroming defending. When the last keep falls, this is going to be game number 1 for Clouded Minds. As Muradin cheers taking down one of his own commanders, you have to wonder, does the lore make sense? Who cares? This is the Nexus Gaming series.
Yeah, the lore is just flavor text, but really well All right, we are back with map number 2, and this time we are going to be going to Battlefield of Eternity. Now, what are your thoughts on this map, Omster?
Well, I just changed my microphone, so I might end up sounding different. I think it defaulted to my camera, so if it sounds weird, let me know. Otherwise, I love BOE. It's a map where people often draft interesting things for fighting specifically. Because there's only 2 maps, we see a little less global pressure and a lot more brawl pressure, and to be honest, that's the way I like it, Toki.
Yeah, and I'm really liking this other mic as well. This makes a lot of sense. We were having our audio issues, trying to figure it out. When in doubt, blame Discord. I think that's really what we should all be doing. But either way, we're here with the second draft, and we already got a few bans, and a little bit of a different one with the Greymane getting banned by Clouded Minds.
Greymane, a great racer. His Worgen auto attacks are among the highest in the game. So he is great at racing, but he's also good at blowing things up. I'm also curious if one of Poe or Velvet are particularly skilled at it, which would give you 2 reasons to remove the Worgen from this map.
Yeah, for sure, and it is super good at racing onto those Immortals as well. But now, first pick was taken by Clouded Mind, so this was a map picked by Roll1Esports. And Tempest Jet going to be locking in the Joanna first, which I do believe was banned in game number 1, so this will be a new pick today.
And only 2 picks before the next ban phase coming out, so this will be the core of what's most important to Roll1Esports as they pick what's important in here. Tyrande chosen, a not frequently played. She has mostly single target healing that a lot of it depends on how well she auto attacks. She can help increase your damage to Immortals, but she requires perfect play to see value.
Yeah, and I mean, we are also going to be seeing the Li Ming locked in for Poe. Also incredibly good at racing and can kind of do that over the wall now. You said this last game, they should ban the Junkrat from Trash Mouse, but this time around, they're still able to get it and the Anduin on Ruffian as well.
Absolutely, and I think that's very, very frightening if you're a member of Roll1Esports. They're gonna, and I think especially with Tyrande, who has no automatic escape buttons, when they was gonna have to be very careful on Tyrande.
Yeah, now the Dahaka gonna be the next ban coming out of Roll1Esports. Now, this time wasn't banned in the first phase, and I think that's probably just because it is Battlefield of Eternity. It's a 2-lane map. You still get a lot of value because Dahaka is just kind of broken. I really want to see that hero nerfed every single patch. I don't care if they're not picked, just keep nerfing him every patch. But Varian actually going to be this last ban coming out of Clouded Minds. That's a bit of a surprising pick there.
Now, Varian can match up with Tyrande almost as well as Varian matches up with Stukov in terms of she has a skill shot stun that lasts a decent length of time, and she can also stack it. But another thing is Varian can be played in the off lane here. You don't see it often, but it can be with Smash Varian to cause you to do more damage to the Immortal as well. So I'm curious if Roll1Esports has some kind of surprise tech, or if Clouded Minds just doesn't want to see it.
Now we're definitely going to have to see, but so far it's going to be the Zul'jin and the Anub'arak. Now, I'm wondering if it was for the Anub'arak. It is, but no, the Anub'arak was picked by Roll1Esports. Never mind, I'm talking completely nonsense here, but either way, it's going to be a lot of damage, a lot of single target bursts coming out of Roll1Esports. Zul'jin kind of a caster now, and Anub'arak does similar setups to the Varian as well, so a very powerful engage hero coming out for Roll1Esports.
Expect to see Cocoons on the Anduin and Illidan coming out. Oh, we do not see enough of the blind man here. And unlike Lee Sin, Illidan's actually interesting to watch.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a... No, go on.
It's such a brave pick into this much crowd control. Tiger is a brave Illy player.
And I'm wondering how they're going to be playing it. I mean, I assume it will be the hunt coming out of Illidan. Maybe they're just looking to dive under the backline because Li Ming is going to be able to just jump around, and they don't really have anyone else that's going to be able to match up with that. But now Brightwing
is that offlane Tyrande?
Yeah.
It's double healer, but I don't know who the offlaner is.
Well, Zad is typically the offlaner, so it might be the Zul'jin being played in the offlane here. But very interesting drafts coming out from both these two teams. I think that's the least we can say.
2-3. I fully suspect, actually, now that I think about it, we'll see a 2-3 on this map. Now, not the best wave clear on Roll1Esports. Not as important on a 2-lane map, but still important. And with Illidan Raynor able to push lanes out and race, could make things tricky.
Yeah, 100%. But either way, we are here. It is game number 2 between Roll1Esports and Clouded Minds. We are on Battlefield of Eternity. And on the blue side, we have Roll1Esports. Zad going to be playing the Zul'jin. Velvet on the Brightwing. Juaniba going to be on the Tyrande. Rock Your World on the Anubarak. And Poe on the Li Ming.
On the red side, we've got Clouded Minds as they are on the side of the Burning Hells with that beautiful black and red architecture. We've got Trash Mouse reprising his role on the Junkrat. Tempest Jet is on Anduin. Or no, that's Johanna. Ruffian is on Anduin. We've got Rogue on, that's really hard to see,
The
James
Jimmy.
Raynor. And we've got Tiger on the Illidan.
And this should be a very fun map. And it looks like you were right. It is that 2-3 setup coming out from Roll1Esports. Zad and Velvet going to be grouping up top. But the phase shift will allow Velvet to move between the map. But it is greater polymorph for level 1. And I think that's really going to change things up in this lane. Make it a lot more dangerous for Tiger.
Well, one of the things Illidan hates is hard crowd control. All of his abilities are about being able to consistently auto-attack. Brightwing prevents you from doing that easily, and that is going to make Tiger's life a lot more annoying.
Yeah, but at the same time, oh, actually, first blood happening during that. Jimmy able to get the last hit, and Clouded Minds just going to immediately take down this tank. They're going to take down Rock Your World, and again, they're just playing so confidently and so aggressively, and they're definitely able to come out on top in these plays.
Any StarCraft fan will tell you James Raynor has a lot of experience taking down bugs.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they do best, and they're getting so much value for this as well. This entire wall almost gets finished off, and they're not the ones with the Li Ming. If a Li Ming did that, that's at least somewhat expected, but definitely not what you want on the side of Roll1Esports. However, they have gotten a decent trade over the top side as well. But now, looks like the fight over the siege camp is going to be coming through. They have the Lunar Flare. They're looking over towards Ruffian, and now both sides just trying to hold on to a Tempest Jet. Going to pop the irons. Going to have to condemn onto all 4. And now Velvet going to be the first to go down. Poe just trying to deal damage over the wall. But Rock Your World has to use the Burrow Charge to get away, and it's another 1-0 in favor of Clouded Minds, and they get the camp as well.
They are looking so clean right now, and that lets Tiger put a ton of pressure on Zad in the off lane. Auto attackers are what Illidan excels walking into. An interesting wrinkle here in the level 1 talents, we do not see Executioner for Raynor, which is most common on this map. He's instead taken Veteran Marksman, which is a gambit stacking ability. Every time he dies, he loses some of his power.
Yeah, but right now he's able to bring out quite a bit as a Condemn. Not going to be able to pull back Rock Your World, but I mean, they already have so much value from this damage. They already have 11 stacks of this, and it's going to be an extra 60%, like you said, from that Gambit. So eventually you could stack it back up to where you were. But now, again, the Bro Charge are going to be coming through. They have this on the Lunar Flare on the Tempest Jet, and the damage just still not going to be there for the side of Roll1Esports.
They've got 2/3 of this bottom fort already, and the Mortals haven't even spawned. And I think Rogue is just having fun now. He's taken the level 4 stacking talent as well, which I believe is called Behemoth Armor. And it just gives him more health. So he's just going for dings right now, and Fan would be proud.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how you should be playing this. You want to hear those nice dings. And right now, Clouded Minds, they don't even care about the Immortal. They are just going to give up this half time, but they will trade it for a full fort in the bot lane. And now they can take advantage. A bit of an unlucky spawn for them. I don't think Clouded Minds wanted this to be here, but they're still going to be able to hold on to it. Half HP. They are going to send James Jimmy Raynor onto their own Immortal. But now Rock Your World is playing forward. But again, forced to just jump away. It is so difficult for them to walk in. Between Tiger being completely immune from autos, they have Tempest Jet with the Iron Skin, but Rock Your World going to try again. Does land the Impale. Tiger just jumping into the backline, looking towards Zad. Not going to be able to find it quite yet, but Rogue has now roamed back towards the fight, just trying to help them zone. And they aren't even talented for now, but again, the Bro Charge is going to land into Lunar Flare over top, and now this could be the chance, but instead it's 1E, the Concussion Mine bring them over the wall. Rock Your World going to be next to follow, and it's a 2-0. Make that 3, as Tiger was able to take down Zad in the same time, and Clouded Mines 5-0 in the full kill score. They are starting to DPS onto their Immortal, and it's all looking up for Clouded Mines.
They are looking so crisp, but so far all of these fights have started with one sentence. They gave Trash Mouse the Junkrat.
Yeah, now Rock Your World just trying to get a little bit of damage, maybe looking for someone to pick off, but it's just not going to happen. Clouded Mines not giving them that opportunity. They did lose the rest of their top lane fort with that minion wave that was shoved in by Velvet, but I mean, they're still overall losing out on the map. Now, the Immortal is going to be coming down to that top side. Rock Your World is going to get hit with the Concussion Mine, but no follow-up available. And this is an early one, so I don't expect too much from it, but the way the Clouded Mines have been playing just on their own, they might still be able to get a ton of value from this push.
Almost a 2 full level lead at 5 minutes into the game, Toki.
Oh, but they are looking for the Bro Charge.
Sevens aren't even here.
Yeah, now Rock Your World is starting to get really low. Does have that Carapace, and that should be able to keep them safe. But again, that's zoning them off of this Immortal, so they're not going to be able to DPS onto it quite as well. And another Bro Charge. They're still looking for a Tempest Jet. Sorry, you're not allowed to speak today, Homester. But Rock Your World will get finished off. It's going to be the 6th kill going for Clouded Mines, and they don't have the boss, they don't have the Immortal, but they do have the 2nd fort already for Clouded Mines.
And this has got to be so demoralizing if you're Roll1Esports right now. Everything you're trying to do, every tactic you're trying to make to give yourself an advantage is simply ineffective into this crisp play from Clouded Mines.
And it has been crisp. They're even going to get both these siege camps. They're about to hit level 10s. And Roll1Esports, right now, they're just trying their hardest to clear out this Bruiser camp. I think that's kind of their main focus, is trying to get something. But Trash Mouse already in the area. Won't be able to prevent it. They're just a little bit too late. But the Heroics are here. They have the Chastise. It lands on his dad, but they're not going to throw the Blessed Shield. They're not going to try to go with that play. But again, Clouded Mines just really showcasing why they were one of the favorites early on to win this division. But again, Roll1Esports, they still want to go. Bro Charge not going to be able to land. Blessed Shield lands onto 2, and the Hunt as well. Zad got to get taken down. Light Bomb lands onto 3. Poe getting hit in the backline. Will be zoned away. Velvet, one more auto will be enough. 1E will follow. It's another 3-0. 9-0. A 3-level lead for Clouded Mines as they are putting on an absolute shellacking into Roll1Esports.
I'm not really sure what they thought could happen there. Tiger wasn't there, but he has the Hunt. I can understand really wanting to show something, to get some initiative, to try and find an advantage, but for now, all you can do is defend. You gotta soak to 10. There's really no other answer. If they try to fight over the Immortal, I would wager a guess, Toki, that will be game over. If they die and give over a full shield Immortal, that's game over.
Yeah, it's a very rough spot to be in. They have to go in, but at the same time, they can't. And now halftime's already going to be there. They at least got some damage on the Immortal, so it's only going to be a near full shield Immortal, at least at the current state. And they're still so far away from level 10. Now, they do have Velvet just kind of soaking up, just trying to get their Heroics online, even while they do DPS a little bit onto this Immortal, but it's still not going to be enough. I think this Immortal will even be able to crash into their walls before they get the level 10s. And Clouded Mines, they could seriously consider just going full tilt into this, as they now do engage onto Poe. And Rock Your World does go in Hunt over to the backline. Poe gonna get taken down. First kill already going the way of Tiger. 1E and Zad starting to get pretty low. Light Bomb over top. Zad's gonna be gone. It lands on both of them. 1E will follow. Rock Your World will go down. The Chastise lands as well. And now the Immortals pushing into the bot side. Rocket Ride over top in the top. And they may be able to just end the game here and now at 8.5 minutes.
That's just the stat diff, Toki. When you have that, it's about 4% per level. At 12% better stats than your opponents. They just can't get anything going. They will have 10s now, but their opponents already have 13. And honestly, this light
Velvet
bomb
gets hit over the wall. The Emerald Wind will be able to clear the way, but the grenade's almost enough damage, and Trash Mouse able to get the final hit. and they already got the top keep, and now they have the Immortal over for the bot keep and the 4v5 Clouded Minds. They're just playing so fast, and with a concussion mine, Zad is not able to defend. And now Rocky World is going to be going in. They are looking for this Anubarak. Stars fall over top, but it's not going to be enough to help. Rocky World will go down. Tazdingo already popped, and it does seem like they will be able to take down Zad, and it's another 2-0. They're looking for more. Poe just trying to back away, and I think this is it. Clouded Minds in an absolute dominant fashion. Less than 10 minutes. Perfect game, and Clouded Minds take game number 2.
That started snowballing the moment they let Trash Mouse pick Junkrat Toki. That's a hard game to commentate in the sense that it was just a stomp. And if you're Roll1Esports, you gotta wash that out of your memory. You gotta pretend that game never happened. We're going into game 2, and we're gonna win game 2. Because I really don't think there's much to learn from this game besides ban the Junkrat. Trash Mouse's concussion mines are putting people in a position to die over and over and over again, and his team obviously knows how to play off of it.
Yeah, and I mean, great victory now for Clouded Minds. I mean, we were talking about that Gambit's talent, and I think it paid off. They definitely got some insane value out of it without losing a single stack for that entire game. And I mean, this has already been a very, very one-sided fight. Game number 1 was definitely closer, but what do you think? Do you think Roll1Esports can try and get this back in their favor?
Well, sometimes it's a map that shows you, but right now the drafting looks like Clouded Minds. Again, I don't feel like I saw them this dominant earlier in the season. I don't know if they've been working with a coach or what they've been doing, but their drafting has an answer for everything Roll1Esports is doing. I think what they need to do now, take a short break, get a drink of water, refresh your head, and try to come in with, a slightly stronger draft, or at least in some way try to disrupt what Clouded Minds is going for, because right now they look unstoppable.
And speaking of getting a drink of water and a little break, we are going to go to a short break, but because of how close this was, there's not going to be any ads, so don't worry about that. I will, however, give a quick shout out to the sponsor of this channel, HelloFresh. You saw the Autobot. Use code POGHF160868 for 10 free meals and free add-ons for life. And if you're outside the US, the code works for you as well, but the local discount will apply. Well, thank you very much for HelloFresh for sponsoring this stream. We're going to go to a short break, and when we come back, it could be the third and final game between Roll1Esports and Clouded Minds. All right, welcome back, everyone. And like you saw, we're going to Infernal Shrines. Game number 3 between Roll1Esports and Clouded Minds, and it is 2-0 for Clouded Minds. And what do you think Roll1Esports need to do to get back into the game, Homester?
Well, they got to ban Junkrat to start with, if I haven't made that abundantly clear yet. But I do think there are things they can do. I think Rocky World has been a little bit off on some of his CC, but we know he's a great player. I think if he comes in with a solid head and starts landing his disruption, I think that's a great chance to start fights. He's a great initiator. The Stitches and the Noob haven't necessarily done it for him, but whatever he brings this time, they've been listening to me. Trashmos will have to play a new hero.
Yeah, and I mean, it was definitely a big part of the lead that Clouded Minds had. They were able to get some really solid early pickoffs with it, but like someone in chat mentioned, Junkrat alone does not net you a 4-level lead. And that's exactly what Clouded Minds had when they ended the last game. So I do worry a little bit about the mental state of Roll1Esports, but I know this team, they're strong mentally, they're strong as a team, and they may be able to come back in this series, or at the very least, give us an excellent showing in this third game.
So the Hogger had been banned out first last time. And Tiger does seem to be a very strong offlaner, but I think if they go a little more standard this time, Tassar an excellent choice on this map, and Deckard has a lot of opportunity to show value, creating space with the Scroll of Identify, and even able to put potions down to kind of set up beforehand, meaning they don't always have to be right next to their teammates to heal them.
Yeah, but I'm really interested that they did pick the Hogger here. I mean, it is incredibly good over in this map. This is probably Hogger's best map. You can just kind of go hog wild on all those skeletons around the shrines. And with Murden and Oriel, who's also been a really common ban from Roll1Esports, they're really getting set up with this death ball composition.
They really have some best in slot heroes going on here. Now, the one downside to Oriel, she has no cleanse, and both of her ultimates leave a person in a very predictable spot to be crowd controlled. So it leaves you with both an opportunity, but it could also leave you out of position if you go too hard on someone and the Crystal Aegis stops you. On the other hand, if you manage to be wise with your CC once you see it go down and catch someone, it's either a problem or opportunity, and all it comes down to is timing, Toki.
Yeah, exactly. And one thing I do like right now from Roll1Esports is actually the Kira ban. That's a little bit surprising, but it will be removed from Clouded Minds. Is that they do have the Tassadar for Poe. I think having a long-range mage, someone that can start chunking down Clouded Minds before the initiation comes off, is really going to benefit the style that Roll1Esports do like to play. I think overall they are a little bit less aggressive than Clouded Minds, and having that opportunity to play slow and still gain the lead with it could be very big for them, as they lock in the Thrall and the Dahaka once again for Zad.
It looks like they're once again trying to create some space. At this time, there's no ban on the Dahaka. He can be very strong on this map. And will give them, if they do fall a little behind early, they have that opportunity to pick some of it up. But Rogue wants to hear some more dings and picks the Jimmy Laner.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really fun pick as well. I love the skin as well. I don't actually know what that one's called, but it looks sick. Kind of like Hell Rider, I think it's called. I forget what that one. The one that Nicolas Cage played.
Ghost Rider, yeah.
There we go. That's the one. But yeah,
Trashmos gets Gul'dan this time, so another very potent character, but not with as much opportunity for disruption outside the Horrify. So hopefully pre-10 it does not offer Clouded Minds the same opportunities to constantly target where the tank is going to be. Rocky World is actually given the last pick in this draft. We'll see what he goes for.
The May.
Our world is worth fighting for.
Now, I think this is picked for the blinds, because if we just look at these two teams the way they are, Raynor is still going to be the primary damage dealer for Clouded Minds. Obviously, Gul'dan and Hogger can kind of help out with that, but being able to just blind Jimmy, who can't really dodge it with no cleanse, that's going to be a big amount of DPS missing from the team.
I think pre-10, Roll1Esports has a lot of opportunities. I do think post-10, the synergies that we'll see out of Clouded Minds The ability of Murda and Hogger to start fights and the ability of Gul'dan to split people away, Roll1Esports is going to have to bring their best game if they want to extend this series.
Yeah, and hopefully that's exactly what they're going to bring in, but why don't you introduce Roll1Esports?
Well, we have Rock Your World on May. Poe has brought Tassadar. Velvet is on Thrall. We do have Zed on the Dahaka, and Waneba is bringing Deckard Cain.
That's a really good Deckard Cain, sorry. But on the right side of the red, we have Clouded Minds, Trash Mouse on Gul'dan, Ruffian on Oriole, Rogue on Raynor, Tempest Jet on Murden, and Tiger on Hogger. And with that, both teams, they're gonna meet in the middle, and if Clouded Minds can win this, they will be taking the Div B West Championship home with them.
Incredibly exciting game 3, but I mean, again, as a caster and as a fan, you want to see it get extended. You want to see Clouded Minds get pushed, and you want to see the best game. It always hurts to see a really good team just have an off night during a championship. So here's hoping Roll1Esports had that chance during our, during the break to pull themselves together, tell each other, that they have faith and trust in the heart of the cards. TM.
Yeah, and both sides just really fighting over this walk down to the bot lane. And they will end up being able to just kind of walk together in the end anyway. Tempest Jet definitely taking the worst of that trade, but it is a Muradin, does passively heal back up. Has the healing from a Ruffian as well. And without a mana bar, it is a lot easier to just kind of play that top-up healer.
We do see once again it is Ding Jimmy. So once again it will be the opportunity for constant dopamine hits. It's Echoed Corruption Gul'dan, which early in the game doesn't bring as much, but later in the game
but now they have the root. They're able to find them, and Trash Mouse gonna be the first one gone, and this time Roll1Esports able to get the first blood for themselves. They do end up giving up the siege camp, and actually the Brush Stalker coming out from Zad as well. But either way, slight advantage towards Roll1Esports.
Gul'dan does not have the sort of easy escape that a Junkrat has, and I do feel like Trash Mouse has gotten a little used in this series to being able to position however he wants. That is not going to be the case against the Haka and against Thrall. They will punish you for not getting out soon.
Yeah, but now both teams, they will be able to take their left and right siege camp. So it's 1 kill for 1 siege camp. That's kind of the trade that's overall been happening with the macro, as now Tempest Jet could be looking for an aggressive play, but Rock Your World is going to be there to kind of match it. And both teams, they're very, very even. And I know it's still early on, only 2.5 minutes, but I do think this is still the best start the Roll1Esports have had so far this series.
Absolutely. No, interestingly enough, I'm a little surprised that Poe went for the Static Charge Shockray 1 as opposed to the Psystorm talent level 1, which gives you 33% more range on it, which does make you just a bit safer as a Tassadar. And the Scroll of Scroll of Sealing, I believe it is, at 1 for the Deckard they're stacking up. Not something we always see. Oh, sorry, Scroll of Sealing is the usual skill, and Scroll of Identify is the talent. But look out for Deckard to do a surprising amount of damage later on in the game if Waneba manages to stack that up.
Yeah, and it's also going to give that armor piercing for the rest of the team as well. That's going to be a really dangerous Scroll of Sealing, but with that, they already have the point started. The Shrine has begun. And Clouded Minds, they're already at 20 before Roll1Esports can even approach this. I think they want to get level 7 before they walk in, but it might be a little bit too late. Clouded Minds, they're already at 29. Make that 30 skeletons. And now they're starting to go forward. Roll1Esports could look for a fight, and if they do, they need to go now. They do get the Shock Ray over top, but again, Tempest Jet able to heal that up. Now, level 7 has finally arrived, but the Mortar Punisher has been completed for Roll1Esports, so a little bit of a trade there.
They gotta be careful for the jump here. It does land onto the May, but she does have the Cryo Freeze to keep her safe.
Yeah, now I'm wondering if this was also kind of intentional by Roll1Esports. The first Punisher is not that strong, and they do have decent clear for it. Poe's going to be able to deal a lot of damage, Velvet as well. They'll lose a good chunk of that wall, probably the entire wall actually, but they don't lose that much more for it, and they got a ton of soak over in the bot lane. since they did send all 5 members up top for Clouded Minds.
One of the other things they've done that I think is very interesting is they haven't bothered to fight Raynor very much. He only has 9 stacks of that level 1 ability, and that procs every time he hits a hero with every 4th shot.
Oh, but they do have the Rune Tempest Jet starting to get decently low. Now Tiger is going to be here, kind of already in the way of roaming up top, but very close to another pickoff. Going the way of going the way of Roll1Esports, and they're definitely playing a lot more aggressive, and it looks like they're aiming for Tiger, and the Hog Wild has already been used. That's the usual escape. Now they have the dogs. They're able to get the Shocker over top. Scroll of Ceiling, and that's going to be the 2nd kill of the game going to Roll1Esports, and we're going to have the exact same trade for the Siege Camp for Clouded Minds.
Well, they grabbed that Tiger by his toe, but when he hollered, they did not let him go, and that is a dead Auger.
Nice. That's a really good one, but they will be able to at least get some damage back to this bottom of tower, or at least towards the gate. But again, Zad also able to get that push happening on the top side, but with that extra kill, with that extra soak, because there was a lot missed here. Now Tiger's going to be able to at least get the smaller orbs of it for some of those minions, but a little bit over half a level lead has opened up for Roll1Esports from those plays.
Well, and I think they're just able to play more comfortably knowing there is not mines everywhere. When you're constantly looking at your feet, you're not looking at where your skill shots are going to land. And I'm not trying to belabor the point of the Trash Mouse Junkrat here, but that feeling of feeling more safe, of feeling like you can stand where you want to stand and do your damage, Roll1Esports suddenly looks a lot more confident engaging into their opponents.
Yeah, they're looking really solid. Now, they do have their level 10 heroics, but right now, Clouded Minds, they are playing really well together, and Tiger actually getting a solid push to the top side. That entire wall was taken down by the Punisher earlier on, but will be getting a little bit more damage onto the fort itself. Now, heroics are going to be available for Clouded Minds as well, and the next Punisher should be spawning soon, so could definitely be the next location for our team fight.
Interesting. There's some really interesting choices on the right here from the members of Clouded Minds, in that it's resurrection from the Oriole. It is not. So she's looking to bring someone back after they die, not.
But now they have the snowball. Only lands on Tempest Jet, but that still pulls a Murden away from the fight. Now the Horrify will split off the dive, so Poe and Rocket World not going to be able to find anyone else here. They get the Shock Ray onto Trash Mouse, but no pickoff will be available. And they did use the Hyperion just to kind of get a little bit of poke onto the bot side, but because of that play, Roll1Esports, they're going to be the first to this Punisher this time around, and it is the Frozen Punisher in the mid lane.
They do have one ultimate advantage as well, and it's also the Shockwave from Hogger, not the Hortipult, meaning that it's a lot easier to miss, and it doesn't keep you repositioning opportunities. The isolation comes out onto the Murder.
Oh, and they have the Scroll of Ceiling as well. They're looking towards Tempest Jet. They have the Dragon, and that's more than enough damage. The Earthquake buying quite a bit of space. They could look towards Ruffian, and now they have Stay a While and Listen, but the Hogger is too hog wild, able to trade back onto Velvet. And now it's still a 1-for-1 as Tiger does use the Shockwave. It does go wide though. And Trash Mouse starting to zone away Poe in the backline. Resurrect coming through on a Tempest Jet as well. So it is a 5v4 again. Rocket World out of mana, getting stomped by Tempest Jet. One more stun, not going to be enough. But only 4 skeletons are needed. Make that 3. Who's going to be able to get the Punisher? Poe completely zoned away. Zad kind of in a bad spot as well, but is still trying to run in. Rocket World gets it. 39 to 35. Scroll of Ceiling. One more is needed, and it does go to Roll1Esports. But now, can they get anyone on the return play? Tempest Jet trying to stun up Rocket World. Not going to be able to find the play. Somehow, no one goes down, and Roll1Esports come away with the Frozen Punisher.
And once again, not a lot of stacks for the Raynor there, but we do see quite a few stacks for the Tassadar, and this Shock Ray is going to start to really hurt. And the Snowball still exists here. If they see a good position with this Frozen Punisher rooting someone, Rocket World can either disengage or start an engage with that just by snowballing this game.
Yeah, and they're getting a good chunk of damage onto this mid lane fort. Just need a little bit more of the Psy Storm and the Shock Rays coming out from Poe, really helping out with it. And first structure of the game as well, going the way of Roll1Esports. They look like a completely different team in this third game.
And like we had mentioned at the beginning of the draft, Toki, it's all about where their heads were at after getting dominated in game number 2, and they have come out with a vengeance. They didn't come out afraid. They haven't come out going, oh gosh, we better make sure that we don't give this other team some opportunity. They came out and said, everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face.
Yep, they can't get an opportunity if you don't give them one. And they cannot take them if you're the one that take every single opportunity off the map. And that's how Roll1Esports have been playing. But now, Cloud of Mines, even up on that level 13 talent, they're looking to steal this siege camp. But the whole of Roll1Esports, they're collapsing. This could be the next stage for the next fight. Tempest Jet gotta get hit into the Blizzard and does pop the Avatar, but it's still getting zoned away. The Horrify pulls Roll1Esports into the middle. Rock Your World will go down. And that is the only kill. Tiger in the meanwhile trying to zone away the back line. And now they have the Black Hole. Tiger will get taken down. Stay a while and listen. Splits up the fight. Ruffian trying to survive at half HP, but Tempest Jet will follow in that death, and it's a 2-for-1 in favor of Roll1Esports, and they get to secure their siege camp back to themselves.
And the souls of Hogger and Murden just sitting there going, Ario, come die and save us, please.
Yeah, they're looking pretty calm when they're saying that, but you know what? To each their own. Indie company can't have those animations, or maybe they don't know we're adding our own voice lines, but different story entirely.
Yeah, I mean, obviously for Murden, it's in Scottish. Ario, come save me, I'm the king of the doors, damn it.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's thinking. I know that's what I'd be thinking as well, but either way, right now, Zad alone in the top lane, and now Zad is the one that's getting collapsed upon, but it is a Dahaka, not the easiest target to go. Has the stasis, but they're getting blocked up. Sunned up into the wall. Zad trying to run away, but not going to be able to. And Cloud of Mines, they send 5, they get the kill, but there's no wave here. They will start pushing onto their 4th themselves, but it's going to get traded towards this bot side. And this bot side has a wave already pushing in, while they're still losing the priority overall in the top lane. So it's a 1-for-1 trade in terms of forts, but at least a kill will be going over to Cloud of Mines, but level 16s are there for Roll1Esports.
The important thing to remember too is on most characters, your death timer also includes the time it takes you to get back to lane. Dahaka does not have that problem.
No, definitely not, but now a staggering blow could be starting the fight. Rock Your World actually going to dodge a lot of those crowd control. Only gets hit by the Horrify in the end, but no more follow-up is available. So Roll1Esports not going to be too afraid, and actually that's going to be 2 heroics missing from Clouded Mines for this next fight. They're not going to have Hyperion. They're not going to have the Horrify. Now, Hyperion definitely not the strongest tool during team fights. It is better for Siege, but it is still that little bit of extra damage that they may end up needing. Now, it is the Arcane Punisher is spawning over into the bot side. Tempest Jet immediately walking forward, but again, the Force Wall and the Blizzard just zoning away their backline. Now the drag does land. They're looking on to Tempest Jet. Avatar gets popped as well and will be forced to jump away. And now Scroll of Sealing does land onto Rogue. Isolation will not, but they do have Stay a While and Listen. Tiger will go down. Black Hole tries to split up the fight, but they have already lost Rock Your World. Tempest Jet could be the next target. Scroll of Sealing again going to land. Already at 10 stacks. 5 more before the armor reduction does come through. But the Resurrect from Ruffian makes it a 4v5 again in favor of Cloud of Mines. But the Arcane Punisher going to Roll1Esports. But now the drag, it is going to land. Tiger still trying to play aggressively. Another shockwave from Poe just to get a little bit of poke. But again, not too many deaths. Just a 1-for-1. But the Punisher will go to Roll1Esports.
And an interesting way of playing there. Clouded Minds are willing to play very aggressively because they're well aware that the resurrection from Ruffian basically turns every fight into a 6v5.
Oh, but the Horrify does land. Velvet could be in a bad spot, but the Scroll of Sealing gets him in the backline. Tempest Jet will be forced to just jump over, and now they have the Punisher. Trash Mouse will get taken down. The Side Storm with the help of the Arcane Punisher, more than enough DPS. And now they don't have the Resurrect this time around. They will finish off the bot lane wall, and Roll1Esports, they are rolling over this game.
The Punisher saw that Waneba was able to hit 3 with the Scroll of Identify and went, hold my beer.
Yeah, exactly.
Huge triple stun there. Absolutely fantastic. And it just led to Trash Mouse getting punched in the face repeatedly by a demonic Punisher, which I think even though he's a big fan of demons, canonically, that may have been a little too close for comfort.
Yeah. But one thing I want to bring up at the very least, still 0 deaths onto Rogue. So that Gambit is still stacking. That 60% bonus damage is still there for Rogue. But at the same time, it looks like Roll1Esports, they're scaling up quite a bit. The shock ray almost max stacks. Scroll of Ceiling 3 more, and that's going to lower the armor. And they've already been very close at bursting down single targets. Once they have that armor reduction, I think that'll be more than enough to get those kills.
I'm not sure it was about game 1 that made Velvet's Thrall look a little bit unprepared for dealing with it. I don't know if it was just the displacement of the Junkrat, but it has looked so good here. 3 and 4-man Feral Spirits, his W, that Fiery Wolf, where he just controls people over and over in fights.
Yeah, and
Looks like
speaking
they're
of
starting
fight,
another one.
Tiger looking for the shockwave, not gonna be able to find a staggering blow into the Horrify, but Velvet's still gonna be alive. Rocky Road with a snowball splits up the fight, and then may have saved the team, but Rocky Road still gonna be pretty low. Tiger is getting burst down, and now stay a while and listen. They have the drag on a Trash Mouse, and without the Horrify, there's no more peel. Rocky Road gonna be able to go into Cryo Freeze. And now the Hyperion is going to be coming out over top Black Hole just to split the fight up again. The HP bars were favoring Clouded Minds, but there was only 1 kill, and it was in favor of Roll1Esports.
Just fantastic play, and they're using the Dahaka drag. What is Ruffian doing? He's not supposed to be leading this fight. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but
And
now they do
Tempest
have the
is
Scroll
gonna
of
hit now.
Ceiling. They are looking for Tempest Jet, and they do have the burst. Level 20s are now available, but it's just going to be another pickoff for Roll1Esports, and their Bruiser Camp took out the top lane fort during that play. So this has just been a massive movement going for Roll1Esports. Rogue is still alive, though. The Gambits live strong, and that is at least my hope for Clouded Minds.
Just absolutely fantastic fighting, fantastic positional awareness, using their own abilities to displace. But it's been really interesting to watch both Ruffian and Tiger play, in that they've been so good positionally, and then that chase into that area meant Tempest Jet had to die for the sins of his team.
Yeah, exactly. That poor Muradin gonna have to go down, but level 20 advantage still there for a little while for Roll1Esports, and the Punisher is going to be spawning, and it looks like Clouded Minds, they're willing to give it up. They want to trade it for this bottom fort, which they should be able to secure, and it will relieve the pressure that they're getting from the bot lane. But at the same time, the real question is going to be, how much value can Roll1Esports get from this Punisher in the mid lane?
Later in the game, at least what I've been told from higher level players, later in the game, the Mortar Punisher starts to find more and more and more value as the permanent damage it can do to structures gets fairly high. It ramps up. And one would suspect, barring some unfortunate deaths, that we're likely to see a keep come out, or a keep go down on the side of Clouded Minds, and that's going to make, you know, Roll1Esports feel like they are back in this series. They just need to be careful not to give up any kills that aren't in a winning fight.
Yeah, exactly, but level 20 is going to be there for Clouded Minds, and now they have thrown the Corruption, they have thrown the Hyperion. The Clouded Minds, they are definitely buying some space, but this Mortar Punisher, they've already finished off the wall. They're now looking towards this keep. Shockray lands onto 3, but Ruffian's also starting to scale, but incidentally, it is not going to be that infinite well coming out from Clouded Minds, but now Stormbolt does that, but they're looking to turn it around. They have the fear, they have the Black Hole. Snowball as well finds Ruffian. They're able to zone away the healer. Now Tempest Jet stuck inside of it, but now they have the healer. They're able to take down Velvet first. Hog Wild just bouncing between everyone. Tiger dealing so much damage. And now it's a 1-0 in favor of Clouded Minds as Roll1Esports, they're trying to back away. They're trying to get away from the Clouded Minds. It is a 1-0, and they may be able to take this mid fort and potentially this siege camp.
Really, really good concept of where to fight there. All of them staying out of the earthquake, meaning Thrall got no healing from the little ticks of damage that it does. Wasn't able to sustain through
Tiger?
that fight.
Tiger? Will survive, but that was starting to get really low. Ruffian as well might be in a bad spot. As Roll1Esports, they have the HP advantage, but it is still 4v5. I don't know if they'll be able to go in, and the staggering blow with the Detainment Strike may be enough to put out Roll1Esports from this aggressive play.
This is where the game gets incredibly tight. Both sides have 20s. Zad is going to have to get out if he doesn't want to die, but Tempest Jet looking to stop it. Fantastic burrow timing.
Yeah, definitely being able to get out into safety. Now, it's still going to be the camp going over towards Clouded Minds, but at this point, these camps don't really matter quite as much. It's gonna matter more when there's a Punisher, when there's some kind of play you can do on the opposite side of the map. But right now, it's kind of a chore. It's kind of something to do while you wait for the next objective to spawn to truly fight over. And this next objective could be important for both of these two teams. Now, it will be in the bot side, but whoever wins it may be able to take a huge advantage in this game, and depending on the fight afterwards, could potentially just take it overall.
This is where the pressure is all on Roll1Esports. If you're Clouded Minds and you lose, well, there's still games 4 and 5. If you're Roll1Esports and you lose, your series is over. They've got to keep the nerves to a minimum here. Looking at the 20s, though, we're seeing this a lot more popular on Dahaka recently, the Apex Predator, so the cooldown on the dig as opposed to the contagion on the isolation that spreads. And this just means he has constant global pressure.
And it's important to note that the cast time is lowered as well, so they're going to be able to get into the fight quicker. And it gives less time for Clouded Minds to react around that. It gives them less opportunity to kind of play around it and reposition. But instead, why not go towards the global? Zad going to be the target once again, just kind of trying to burrow through all these different brushes. And with that extra move speed, with that race car build, we'll be fine. And we'll just back away. And now Roll1Esports, they're setting up a little bit of a death brush, but they do get a little bit worried. Force wall from Poe just going to stop them, as the Punisher is going to be spawning with this next shrine.
The Haka sponsored by Mazda going zoom zoom.
Yes, exactly. But now they are going to be getting set up. The drag does land. They're able to find Tempest Jet, and Tempest Jet already at half HP, force the bro. But now Poe getting forced down in the backline will be saved by the black hole. Now the fight is going to be there. Tempest Jet, Rogues all getting low, and now they do have the scroll of sealing. Tempest Jet will be losing the armor, will be losing their life. The Resurrect is available. Shockwave lands onto 4, and Poe still getting low, but it's still alive. Not for long. Jimmy will have more than enough damage. And speaking of Jimmy, Rogue is gone. Juaniba trying to keep everyone alive. The potions are everywhere, but is there enough to go around? Rocky World will go down. Zad will go down. Trash Mouse chasing on a Juaniba, but right now it's a 2-for-1 in favor of Clouded Minds. 3-for-1, sorry.
Absolutely, and just fantastic fight. And this is where that incredible output from the Ariel makes a huge difference. At this point in the game, yes, having a cleanse is important, although important to note, Decker doesn't have one either. But having that constant output, that constant throughput from your healing, if you can't kill them fast enough, Ariel will keep them alive. And even if you can kill them fast enough, if you can't kill 2 or 3 and zone her away from the resurrection, everything you just spent, undone.
Yeah, now things are looking bad for Roll1Esports. The wall is already gone. It's a full HP Punisher on their fort, on their keep, and they still don't have Zad. They still don't have Rock Your World. Clouded Minds, they could be threatening the game here. Now they are going to go in. The Punisher does jump on Velvet. Velvet starting it pretty low, but has to back away. The Feral Spirit's able to find onto 1. Horrify just zoning them away. They are aiming for the end of the game. Black Hole trying to buy space, but the snowball gets in the way. And now Rocky Road able to find Rogue into the backline. They have the blind. They have the fear. Hyperion over top. Rogue will be going down, but Clouded Minds, they did it. They got the clean sweep, and Clouded Minds are your B West champions.
Absolutely fantastic final fight there. They didn't get baited in too soon. They waited for the Punisher to be the biggest threat, and then who did they clear away? They didn't worry about Velvet, and they didn't worry about Dahaka. They focused on the Tassadar and then took out the core. GG, and a fantastically clean 3-0 from Clouded Minds, and really looking forward to seeing both of these teams next season. Some fantastic plays, but Clouded Minds came in today look just absolutely on fire, and it's truly amazing that they have gone 9-0 in the playoffs to be your B West champions.
Yeah, they played absolutely insanely well, and I mean, I still gotta give credit to Roll1Esports. They definitely didn't look that great in game 1 and 2, but they were able to bring it back a decent way in game 3, and it was just that one team fight that went the way of Clouded Minds, and that was more than enough to win them the game. Now, let me see if I can get an interview set up here, as you will be able to see our pretty faces soon enough, though. There we go, we are back. But let me find the team, and let us get that going.
Can't wait.
Dark Knight, what is that emote? Not what I was expecting, but I'm gonna hop over to Lobby 1, Omster, if you want to join me there. All right. Hello, hello.
Tokaby.
Hi.
Hey, Tokiv.
All right. Well,
Thanks for the cast.
yeah, no problem. Thanks for the clean games. I mean, 3-0 for the grand finals, 9-0 overall for the playoffs. I mean, how does it feel being the Div B West champions?
Huh?
We're
Unbelievable.
stoked.
Feels awesome. Really good, really good. They made us work for it. For sure, though. That Taster played really well on that map, especially with their combo with the Dahaka. It was really hard
It's
to play
almost like
into.
they did their research.
Yeah, they definitely knew what to ban for trash.
Hilarious.
Now, for the first two games, especially in game number 2, it was pretty one-sided. And one thing Omster and I have been talking about during this cast is we feel that a big part of that was due to the Junkrat for Trash Mouse. And with that being banned away, do you think that's what let that third game get a lot closer?
It wasn't only that, but they also banned Kira, which is usually my second pick, and they picked Dazzler, which is my third
Yeah.
pick. And it's great on that map, so they definitely went a little hard on me.
But in general, how did you all feel about those games?
Pretty good, pretty strong. I feel like we were dominating, or at least we were in control, so that helped. Right, Ruffian?
We did a lot of
Oh.
research Ruffian did ahead of time. Ruffian has been the queen of opposition research, and it paid off.
Yeah, I thought I had a really good idea of what they were planning to do, which I did, but then it looks like one of their normal players
Yeah.
wasn't there.
We were expecting like a Zagara from like Dr. Evil basically on a couple maps, and because he wasn't playing, it kind of stopped us from banning it, which kind of let us ban ETC, for example, which I thought was pretty helpful for our game since he just got buffed. So, and they play it really well with their stage dive combo and Hanzo ult with Dragon Strike, especially on that map. If they got that, that would have been a crazy combo to deal with. They played it into us before, and it was rough.
I think I even casted that game. I mean,
Yeah.
they've really liked that ETC in the past, so I'm not surprised to see banned away, especially with the massive buffs that hero got as well. But I mean, you've won this series without, and not just the series, but the entire playoffs without dropping a map. And this whole season was really close. So what do you think changed to make it kind of so, I don't want to say this unfairly, but kind of one-sided for the entire playoff run?
I personally think we just started showing everybody that we were willing to first pick the Joanna because we didn't really play it all season. We kind of like favored the Murden to show that as our like main pick. And then when teams just kept giving us first pick, we're just like, okay, let's just take Joe. It's a free pick, and it's actually Tempest's like main pick, as he can probably talk to you about. So
It got banned for the first half of the season, so I've had to flex my Murden chops. But
I think honestly, like we were sorry, Tempest. I think we were just so well prepared in the playoffs because of the research Ruffian did.
yeah,
Like we knew what they were going to do, and we could tell by like their bans and their strategies against us that they didn't have the level of preparedness because we were like, oh wow, I can't believe they let that through for us. So
yeah,
I think
this
we
is
were
the first.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say this is the first season I've ever played where it's been a double round robin division since we've only had 7 teams, and I think having the extra, game before going into the playoffs against each team gives us a little bit more data to look at. So Ruffian really went through it all and analyzed, and we didn't have all of the information the first time we played some of these teams, and that really helped our ban strategy.
we were not prepared for their Tassadar there. We were definitely wanting to pick it for ourselves, so it was good of them to take it when they did.
You weren't prepared for that, but you were prepared for the Illidan game too.
Oh yeah, that was
Oh, I love playing Illidan. So fun.
There was one fight in particular they took. We were up 10, and we were surprised that they took that fight, but I guess they thought 5v4, this favors us, and then they were not prepared for Illidan's hunt.
Yeah, no one ever expects the hunt coming out from bot lane, but
Yeah.
Omster, do you have any questions for this fine group of people?
I just think there was some fantastic play from everyone. If you guys watch the VOD, you'll see that I was basically just saying ban the trash mouse Junkrat because he kept paying attention to where Rocket World was going to be. And as an offlane player, I thought Tiger looked really crisp. I also love seeing Illidan played. I can't play it to save my life, but thought it was awesome. But Rogue, I did have one question. So we saw in both games 2 and 3, you take Jim Raynor and you went specifically for the dings.
Yeah.
Were you just hungry for them dings, or is this a build you really think is kind of underrated?
I think it's super underrated and very strong because I can just do so much damage to especially a new Barak every time he E's in. Yeah, that's why we weren't worried about banning him at all this series, because we knew every time he E'd in, I would just shred him. And as soon as I'm 16, I go the level 16 talent where I can like basically double Sergeant Pepper them like one after the other by just having it ready, and then I press my D talent and then have it again, and it just
you go.
wrecks people. So it's just, yeah. I don't know. I think the Exterminator's kind of troll. Even on BOE, I think eventually if I get enough stacks, I can do a good enough amount of damage to the Immortal. Or we can just force the team fights and win the team fights and get the Immortal for free after too.
It probably threw them for a loop too, actually getting to play a Nubrak. I know that for most of the teams, I think a Nubrak is the team that has been banned, or the hero that has been banned most against this team. And I think
Yeah.
that's what made him start looking at ETC later on in the season, because he wasn't getting to play a Nub at all. Suddenly he gets it, and we were prepared.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen this in the higher divisions, Div A, Heroic. It's one of the dangerous things about a Nubrak. As far as tanks go, he's very, very squishy and very easy to burst. So if the engage isn't perfect, could definitely be a rough spot. But now, Omster, do you have any final questions here?
Oh, I was just gonna say congratulations. I don't know if it said in that you guys are NGS champions of Division B East. Excellent and awesome work. Can't say enough about honestly every person on the team. I thought Ruffy and your Anduin was just super crisp. Everything Tiger played, I was like, I got to rewatch these to learn how to do better. I thought Rogue, you looked good on, just dangerous on every character you played. Tempest was always in perfect positioning for a tank, and if I ever climb to the heights where I see Trash Mouse in Storm League, I'm Alt F4ing if my team doesn't ban Junkrat.
Yeah, pretty much.
I become a household name.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Thank you. That's really
Congratulations.
sweet.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations, by the way, guys. You were absolutely fantastic. I have had the privilege to cast Roll1Esports this year. They've looked very good, and for you guys to look that dominant throughout the series, and maybe it just wasn't their best night. We all have them, but you looked very crisp, very clean. Congratulations.
Thank you so
Thanks.
much.
Thank you so much.
yeah, now my usual final question. I believe I've interviewed this team many a time at this point, but do you have anything you'd like to say to all your fans out there? Any big shout outs you'd like to give after winning B West?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thanks for casting our match. That's super awesome that you took your time to do that for us. So thank you for that. And the first I want to shout out, and I think my team will agree, Roll1Esports. You guys played amazing. You were a super tough opponent. We spent a lot of time trying to figure you guys out, and it was a great match. So good luck next season for you guys. And then also wanted to thank the other Clouded Minds team that is supporting us and watching us play and cheering us on. Anybody else have anything else?
Yeah, I want to thank Weenus. He's been our #1 fan all season. I think he's watched every one of our matches. Dingo, Rackham, those guys have really been supporting, and everyone who kind of watched our matches and was cheering us on. Super fun. So thanks all.
And I just want to give a special shout out to everyone else in the division. Like I said, it's felt really competitive. It's a smaller division, only 7 teams in this one, but I thought that every team had a chance on taking out every other team. It's felt really close division to me. One of the best balanced series that I've gotten to play in, and I've played 5 or 6 NGS seasons, and this one felt really good. So thank you everyone who played. Hope to see you back next season.
Well said. Well said.
Yeah, perfectly said. Sorry, Rogue, were you about to give a shout out?
Yeah, I'll just shout out my buddy Carter. He helps me a lot with like going through draft stuff because he watches like all the professional scene for like Caldor and stuff. So he helps me like kind of determine like what's strong right now. He kind of got me playing Raynor a little bit more, especially with Gambit, actually, because I think he was telling me Hazuop started playing it or something. I don't know. I don't really watch them, but he kind of relays that information to me, and he's always super helpful. So that's yeah.
That's one last shout out I'd like to make. Who is the main drafter for your team?
I would say I am, but
I-
yeah,
Yeah,
everybody
I
gives their
thought-
inputs.
I thought the drafts looked super clean. I'm not great at drafts, but I love them when I see them. I thought especially in games 1 and 2, maybe game 3 was a little more even, but in games 1 and 2, I felt like whoever the drafter was, you just had answers for everything they might pick or they might do.
Yeah.
Both games you guys won so dominantly. I think a large part of that was on your draft, and that's something Toki and I identified in draft number 3 was Roll1 was going to have to find a way to disrupt your draft or disrupt how easily you were drafting exactly what you wanted. So congratulations also on doing your homework and draft. They looked really clean, and they came together beautifully.
Yeah, that's 100% a shout out to my team. They're always open and flexible to pick anything, anytime, whatever. Like I think could be good in this scenario. They always give their inputs too, and it's really nice with all the picks that we play to just design a draft together like on a random night, and we'll just come and practice it, and it works out pretty nicely. So it's a
yeah.
really
Like
big
I
team
feel like
thing
there's
for
a lot.
sure.
I feel like there's a lot of expertise between the 5 of us. Like Ruffian did a lot of research, and then Rogue has a great strategic mind, and then between Tempest and Tiger, with their expertise, we were able to, like, as a group, weigh in on the proper drafting. So by the
Yeah.
time I came in, everything was decided, and I was like, wow, that's really amazing.
So you just show up and play the Junkrat and everything's
That's
good,
it,
right?
man.
The dream of a carry player.
Pretty much.
I love it.
Just-
Mid Junkrat.
yeah.
When you want to
these
play,
guys
oh, he's
deserve
already
it.
hovering the Australian.
I love that.
Yeah.
Drafts are tricky though.
yeah.
You can have the comp that you want in
Oh,
mind,
yeah.
but it's about like the order that you take them in. It's a
Mm.
chess move.
100%.
Especially against teams like Roll1, it's the game is decided at the draft.
Taking that to Essadar from us.
Yeah, man. That's they made it so much harder for us, right?
Thanks
Honestly,
again
that
for
game could have gone
passing
either
us
way.
too. We really appreciate the cast as always, Toki B and
Yeah, for
Dumpster.
sure. Tokibi.
We'll see you again probably for sure.
Oh, as long as you come back, you definitely will see me. That's what I can
There
say.
we go.
Oh,
That's
it's
what I
a
like to hear.
promise. It's a promise.
I look forward to watching the VODs.
Yeah, no, this was a good cast. This is my second time co-casting with Omster, and definitely not the last, so definitely be looking out for that.
Yeah, you guys do a good duo.
Yeah, either way, once again, congratulations on your undefeated championship, and thanks for coming to this interview. I hope to see you all next season, and you have yourselves a good night.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks, y'all.
GG's, man.
All right. And now with that, it is time for us to say goodbye. It is time for us to end the day. And Omster, do you have any final thoughts for this wonderful day of NGS action?
Well, I really hope that anybody who's looking at picking up Heroes of the Storm, or if there's any fans who play Heroes but aren't sure if they want to get into NGS, we have teams and championships at every level, no matter what level you might be, and the community is an absolutely fantastic place, and I'm so proud, and I'm sure Toki is too, to have the privilege to cast these awesome players, to see how much respect they have for each other and for their opponents. And thanks to Toki for letting me come onto the stream. He's a fantastic caster, and it's not just a privilege to cast these awesome people, but to cast alongside this awesome caster. So thanks to everybody who was involved tonight.
Yeah, I was gonna say, took the words right out of my mouth for the first half of what you said, because, again, join the NGS, join HOTS, but kind of a little self-serving if I said the other half, but I mean, Omster, definitely big new caster just coming out of nowhere, casting so many games, natural talent. I'm looking forward to casting more with you this season if there's any more games, and next season for sure. But with that, thank you all for coming around. Thank you all for watching. We still will have Heroic at some point this season, so keep an eye out for those games. And you all have a good night, and I'll see you on the Nexus.